very seriously the information we are given to teach the people to impart to people. Thank you. So the second thing we want to talk about is last year we talked about the future of the world. And sometimes we like ask, how do we come about this topic and title we're discussing? Because we're not trying to make things up. We just one of the assignments is to understand where are we going to, where we're coming from, where we are. And because we are going to be very relevant to what is happening in our time, we need to have the understanding of what revolves around us. So last year, I call it the year of the pandemic. And so many things happened. So let me just give you a quick update on this pandemic, which started like March 2020. Everybody was officially notified last year. Now, for today, as of right today, we have worldwide 263 million people have contacted the virus. Now, out of those 263 million people, we have 238 million recovered from the virus. The number of deaths recorded worldwide is 5.2 million as of today. 5.2 million. And in the US, we have 49.7 million cases in the US, 49.7 million cases in the US. And the number of deaths, number of people that recovered was 39.3 million. So the number of deaths as of today is 806,409. 806,409. We are almost like going to that place of that million. In the US, the number of deaths in the US is 806. So that's what the pandemic did to us. Now, last year we were learning about the future of the world. Where are we going to? What's going to be essential for the future? Remember the year before that we talked about the system. We have this system. We have a purpose, we have potential. There's a storm. So the storm actually visited last year and things changed. So where are we heading to? How are we going to prepare for the future? What do we need to do to get ourselves prepared for the future? So last year, what exactly we really talked about as the solution to the future of the world is we discovered the world is now in the deficit of wisdom. And we emphasize that. Now, the problem that we have in the US is not the problem of money. There's money in the US. The problem is, it's not the problem of skillful, professionals. We have a lot of them. But why do we have money in the US? Why do we have skillful professionals in the US where we don't have a lack of skillful people? But then we have a problem. Why is it a problem? What's the problem about? We have economy problem, we have a different kind of health issue problem, we have a governance problem, we have a different kind, educational problem. Why do we have that? So that took us last year to looking at what we call the scale of preference, which is an economy term that tells us that this is what scale of preference teaches you is there are limited resources for your different kinds of needs. So what's the problem with the nation? The scarcity, yeah. How do we go about, how do we face the future with these limitations? And one of the things we understand about the scale of preference is the problem is a problem of priority. How do you prioritize your decision? What is a need for you? Well, differentiating your need from your wants. What you need is different from what you want. Do you understand? So when you do your scale of preference and you're looking at, there's so many things I want in my life. No, not all that you want in your life is important. What do you need? The future that we are going to, what is necessity for you? Because that's what we base our vision on. Imparting knowledge that is timely, which is essential. It's not just anything. What do I need to survive the future? What do I need to survive in this nation? Why are people in trouble? Why are people really like, facing different kind of challenges? So, and then we also went to do some statistics and check some data. So I'll actually walk us through that again tonight. But I want us to focus on the need for the future. That's what we're talking about. The need for the future is the same need that will determine if we are going to be embedded in the system and be, not be heard. But if we're going to be heard in the system, it's also this need that we need to fulfill. So the population, let's start from the population. Last year we had 330 million in the US. And this year we had 33. So 333 million. So right now, within 12 months, we have increased to 3 million people in the US. Now, what is that? What should I do with that? We remember we're in this system together, right? And we are all competing for the same resources. Your children want to go to school. My kids also want to go to school. You need money, I also need money. You need job, I also need job. So we have 3 million people plus from last year. How is it going to impact the economy? How is it going to affect things that we do on a daily basis? How is it going to affect our bridges? We have additional 3 million people driving on that bridge. That's the problem. It's affect everything. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create awareness to the system in which we live and depend on. And to know what is affecting that system, because whatever affects that system will trickle down to you. It's going to affect everything you are interested in. So when you hear the caravan are coming from somewhere, well, people say, well, let them come in. But we didn't say they should not come in. They should go through the right way so they have documentation so that we know how the resources of the nation is going to be shared. So those things are very important. So now, for these 3 million people, for this number to be favorable to the country, there must be also creation of jobs. But do we have that jobs to create for this extra 3 million people that we just added within 12 months? I don't think so. So that's why the number of unemployment is going to increase. Population increases, unemployment increases because they have not created more jobs for those people. We're still competing for the same. All right, government has 22 million people employed by the government, 122 by the private sector, 9.4 self-employed. Unemployment is, the official is 7 million, but the actual is 12 million. No, 7,000, not 700, millions unemployed. How will they fend for their family? So that brought us to this poverty, people living in the poverty. Last year, we had 35 million. This year, we have 36.5. So what's the difference there? 1.5 million in 12 months living under poverty. What does it mean to you? You got to be you got to figure out tonight if you are in this range. Because I'm going to talk about the collapse of the middle class. Remember we talked about that last year. So there's 1.5 million living in poverty. What about food stamp? Last year, it was 3.9 million. It's still the same thing this year. Like 4 million people, food stamp. It's a system we share together. What is responsible for this? What is responsible for all of this? What is responsible for that? Is it because US doesn't have money? Or is it because we don't have skillful people? What do we think? See, remember 33 million people. The workforce in this country is 154 million people. Guess what do they depend on? They depend on the private sector, because this is a private sector job. This is government. Government can only produce 22 million jobs. But then we have 154 million that needs a job. So when you take 22 from this, you have 2, you have 3. So this, out of this, you see the self-employed and the one job that is being provided by the private sector. Who are those people in the private sector that determine the livelihood of 122 million people? Who are those people? So one of them are people I just talked about, it, Walmart. Walmart employed 1.6 million, followed by Amazon, 1 million, followed by McDonald's and Kroger, 500,000 employed people. So that's private sector job. Why am I giving this number? The question I want us to ask ourselves is, what are you contributing to these numbers? Where do you come in this number? That's what will determine how relevant you are in the system. That's what determines if you're going to be, if you're unique in the system or not. What are you contributing to this number? And so, let me, I don't want to go ahead of myself, let me go like this. So, the scale of preference is a method by which people make choices or set their priorities according to scarce resources. Now, what do I want you to understand here? What is it that you think you need to be successful in the future? Is it money, is it skill, or is it wisdom? There are three things: money, skill, wisdom. What is the scarce resources of this nation? Is America, do we really lack skillful people? No. Do we really have the money problem? No. But why are we where we are? Why is the nation going in the wrong direction? Leadership, right? So what is it that distinguishes a leader? Wisdom. So let's look at this. And what is going to be your priority for survival in the future? That's my question. What is going to be your priority for survival in the future? Because now, you know what inflation does? There's a lot of money in the system, but the money has no value. Money is going to fail. So everybody think this is the answer. Everybody think money is the answer. If I can get more money, then I'll be happy. No, when you get more money and you don't have wisdom, you get more challenges. More money without wisdom is just a waste of time. More challenges. Some people think, okay, skill. So this is the problem of the middle class. This is why the middle class is going to, fall apart. Because the people in the middle class are these guys. We have the upper, and then we have the lower. These are professionals, skillful people. They believe this is the answer. But something is going to happen to these people, and things are going to fall apart. And then I'll get there. And then we have the third thing, wisdom. Which everybody will say, well, I know wisdom is necessary, wisdom is important. But nobody, in their own scale of preference, put priority on wisdom. Everybody put priority on money, skill. I'm going to go to school and get more skill, and get more degree. I can get more good job, better job, and I have more money. But then all my problems are not solved. Why? Because wisdom is missing. Wisdom is missing. So let me tell you what the definition of money. He said, money is a commodity accepted by general consent as a medium of economic exchange. It is the medium in which prices and values are expressed as currency. It circulates anonymously. You can go from here to there. It doesn't know, there's no really designated. It's kind of a transfer from one person to another, from one country to another. Now, the dictionary said it is the principal measure of wealth. Money is a principal measure of wealth. Money is not wealth. It just is a measure of wealth. Now, this is a delusion. Everybody is thinking money is wealth. So we keep chasing this money. It's just a measure to just show that because you have this in a big quantity, I think you are getting by. But it doesn't mean that you are wealthy because you have money. Because if you have money and you are mentally deprived, poor, you're not wealthy. Money is not wealth. It just measures. So you would say, okay, I have this amount in bank, I have something. Yeah, okay, fine. But are you totally wealthy? You might have money and then something happened, the police get you, they're going to take you to jail because you don't have relationship that connotes to wealth. People you can call and they will say, no, you can't do that. We're going to find something to do with it. But you have money and people say, okay. You know, the rappers, they have money, but they can go to jail in 2 seconds. They have a lot of money. Some of them make a lot of money more than any other person. But they don't have the wealth, which is called, another wealth is called relationship, association. So it's not the money. So if they have money, you see their musical video, they sing money, 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 and all those things. It's just like, it's like, if I go take a lot of papers, put ink on it and give it to Eri and tell Eri, you are wealthy now. You're not wealthy. I just give you something you can play with. So they think because they have that amount of money, they are wealthy. Some of them are not mentally sound, which is the highest level of poverty. So you still have that money, and tomorrow you decided to go and drink and drive. So what is the essence of money that you don't have common sense? So money is not the problem. Skill is not the problem. This is a nation that if something happened today, organizations that employ people, they do training almost every day. Oh, you got to go to training to how to breathe. You got to go to training to how to jump. So you have to have 3 skills in this. People have skills in almost everything. How to breathe, how to wake the dead up, how to do so many things. People have skills that when you're going to Walmart and somebody don't know how to push their cart, you can help them. They say, I'm certified in this thing. Because they go to all kind of training. Because skill is not the problem. We're talking about the future of the world. A lot of people will be delusional and they will think, okay, I'll just be working for money. This will be the answer. Some people say no. You see, you know what happened to those people? Because they believe in skills, they go get loans, right? When they get loans, they go get more degree. And then when they get more degree, what do again? They increase their standard of living and they get back in debt. They get a better job. They are skillful to get better job. But it can't solve the problem of the nation because better job changes their standard of living, get into more debt, and leave the same cycle. Why? Because wisdom is the principal thing. But the wisdom is what this nation and the leaders of this nation have not taken to mean the principal thing. So the elites that are controlling the nation, driving the system, they believe in their own idea and all those stuff. And then when the storm comes, they don't have a solution to it. Because wisdom is not doing what everybody's doing. Wisdom is doing things differently based on divine knowledge. Divine knowledge. Divine knowledge. Because if those people have this divine wisdom, people will know the pandemic is about to hit this country. And this is what we need to do. We will remember it. Somebody did that in the Bible. Joseph said there's going to be 7 years of famine. But first of all, there's going to be 7 years of plenty. But when the plenty comes, what do? Let's store things. That's the wisdom. That's the people that will move a nation to their destination. Not just people that went to Harvard and they have a degree and they can give you philosophy. And they can tell you this is what you need to do. And they think they know it all. And they tell you print more money. The more money in circulation so we can, sustain the economy. And then we get from this debt. Last year we are our debt was 27 trillion. As of today, 29 trillion. Well, let me actually show you this. It should be very interesting to see this. I have the debt clock. And you see, let me show us this. So this you see here, this is the debt clock that shows right now we have 29 trillion. Did you see how fast this thing is moving? This is how fast this thing is moving. The debt, like every second, we are really going to get every second. Like the money is just increasing like that. This is how fast the debt is moving. Yeah, 29 trillion. And when you compare it to the GDP is also moving, but it's not as fast as the debt. So now, all right, let me show you guys. So this is the debt. 29 trillion, that's what we owe as a nation. And this is what we are making as an income. You see, if you're in debt, the debt is more than your income. That tells you what? Yeah, there's a problem. Yeah, there's a problem. You look at this. This is the debt. 29 trillion is our debt. You see how the clock is really, that means we're really spending stuff. So, but this is what we are making. You see that how slow that one is. This is the one we're making. This is the income. This is the GDP. And this is the debt. And 29 trillion. By the time we finish this class, you will see this will have moved. You see that? Yeah. So, and guess how those things contributing every time. Every time you go and use your credit card, it's contributing to it. Every time you didn't pay your mortgage, every time people get student loan, and the thing is increasing all the time. Debt every time. It's counted. That's why the bank will loan you money. That's not their problem. They're loaning you money because, yeah, that's your own problem. And the person that loaned you money is sleeping. And the debt clock is increasing because they know the more you defy your payment, the more they get more from you. You see, that's the people that control the economy. I was saying, like, this is the last house I'm going to buy with mortgage. Because 219, by the time I finish paying this, I will have paid 600,000. Somebody is sleeping and having an extra 400,000. Yeah, because we said the system, we have to have house like everybody, live the American dream, give our kids the very good house so they can live in a very good home. They can go to school. And then their parents also become indebted. And the kids were like, well, I don't know. My parents didn't leave anything for me because they were in debt before they died. But that's not what we want to do. We want to build a prosperous life. We want to build something for them that in the future, the nation cannot ignore them. Because we're not going to give them money. We're not going to tell them skill is priority, but we're going to give them something that the nation will come and say, how were you raised? Who raised you? Where did you get that from? That's what we're going to give them. That's what Joseph took to Egypt. That Pharaoh said, do we have anyone as wise as you? This is practical. This is not fiction. Wisdom. Wisdom. And when you have this wisdom, immediately you begin to have access to wisdom. You will know, you will see things very different. Your language is going to change. Your perspective is going to change. What moves people is not going to move you anymore because you know it's not money. This is why you will not be bothered about the Joneses because you know they're just living in debt. And you could see the foolishness of what people call the dream. Now, it's not a dream. It's like squandering the future just because of what you want today. They don't get their scale of preference right. Priority is wrong. That's the problem of the nation today. And if you have a leader that doesn't know how to set this thing in the right priority, those are the leaders that are going to drown and sink this nation. Because they think, let's bring more money. All right. Let's create more skillful stuff. Add to the curriculum of the students so they can learn CRT, which has nothing to benefit them in the future. And that become the national debate, the CRT. But the people lack reason. Critical, whatever race, that they're learning. Yes, critical race theory.
Okay.
So how does that benefit the future of this nation? Nothing. Nothing. Okay, let me go back to my verse. So you have to understand the difference between your need and your want. You have to know the difference. What is priority for you? The future of the world. You need to know what you need to set as up high. That is very essential to bring you into that level of transformation. For you to not be ignored in the society. You don't have to have this amount of money before you're being heard. But if you have this wisdom, the wisdom will promote you. It will set you up high. Now let me quickly go to let me continue. When people begin to seek after money, at the point in time when they have the money and they still discover that there is no fulfillment, something is still missing, then they get to realize, oh, I've been living in delusion. I think to work hard, to have money, and be able to have everything that I want. That's life. Now I have the money, but it seems something is not really hard enough. Why? Why after the money? Something is not hard enough.